All right, we're just gonna roll on this one. It's actually super interesting. Do not let me drink this tea. Well, I'm not even gonna test it yet because I'm gonna smoke my mouth. I think it's pretty piping, and knowing me, I'll just go ahead and try it anyway. Happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday evening here for me, so I'm gonna tell you happy. What am I saying? Good evening. Good evening and welcome. I actually, frankly, I'll be perfectly honest. I didn't want to hop on because I'm very pensive this evening, and I got a lot going on up here and in here. So I was a little bit apprehensive, but I thought, this is the whole purpose of this, is to show up authentic, you know what I mean? And I did want to say earlier, I was actually going to do this earlier, but just got busy with work and whatnot. My aim is to create an authentic community of people who struggle with all forms of mental health struggles and deal with that on a daily basis. Because frankly, it's something, and I'm not saying there aren't other sources out there. I'm not saying, I guess, I think a lot of the good part of life is that we can look for problems or gaps that we see and things that would have helped us earlier on and try and fill those gaps. And for me, I just wish there were more people out there, I guess, that would be honest about the day-to-day and keep it real about the day-to-day, because you could have had all the success and come from here to there and done this, that, and the other thing and everything in between. But I just think more people need to be truly candid about the struggle of life in general. This struggle just happens to be more particular to mental health type struggles, but just the struggle of life in general. Like, let's keep it real and I think if more people share and are upfront about their struggles, that people will be inspired and won't feel so bad. And will go, okay, look, he or she's doing it. He or she is fighting. And that's really what I'm trying to do here, is to set an example as best I can from what I've learned in my journey thus far. And kind of the topic I had in mind, again, I wanted to do this much earlier in the day, but it just didn't work out, and that's okay. I no longer beat myself up about plans that don't go as planned. It is what it is. I'm doing it now. That's all that matters. I just like to do it because I'm very off the cuff. I don't really even have talking points. This is straight from the heart, no script. Seat away. But, excuse me too, I'm dealing with a little sinus infection that I've been dealing with for too long. That's not here nor there, but just don't mind me. The topic I had in mind, or the nudge I got today was, and the reason I got it was actually more than a nudge. It was very apparent that I wanted to discuss this topic today, is because this morning, look, yesterday was like a dream. Really good day. And I don't really necessarily say the day's a dream based on what happened in the 3D, in the outer world, right? It's more about where I am vibrationally during the duration of that day. And it was just a good day. Like I felt good. I felt empowered. I felt close to spirit. I felt aligned. I felt in flow. And then this morning, it was fine, go to the gym like I normally do, 6 or 7 in the morning, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, I find myself in this rut. It could be any number of things. I think one of the things, I think actually really what happened was, it's just dealing with different people, like clients and whatnot. sometimes can rub off on me because I'm very sensitive in that regard, that I really am a sponge and I can tend to absorb people's energy. But I think I was just in my head, like I can be, and it's just me. So the topic has a lot to do, ironically enough, with the one I was talking about the other day, which was self-acceptance. And it's along the same lines as like surrender. So what I was thinking this morning, actually after I worked out and I was in the sauna and then getting dressed in the locker room, I was thinking, you know, the first thing I struggled with along my mental health journey was obsessive. Well, I guess if you really go back, it was more ADHD, GAD, like general anxiety disorder. But then it really hit a crescendo with the obsessive compulsive disorder, to the point where it was so debilitating. Like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even function. But what dawned on me, and I think I've had this before, but it really registered with me more today, this morning, was it's always something. Because I said it out loud to myself. It's always something. Okay, it's always something. I kind of chuckled at myself. I try to have a good time. If I'm going to struggle, I'm going to try to make as much light of it as I can. And so I just chuckled at myself. I'm like, yeah, funny. It's always something, huh? So, with that said, what I thought was, look, I've used it as a form of self-sabotage in my life for so long, in various facets of my life, that, well, everything will be good when I'm OCD free and I don't have this thought or I don't have this obsession. But guess what? It's something else. And the less I surrender and the more I focus on that and I fight it and I'm irritated about it, and the more I program and ingrain that limiting self-belief in my mind that, oh, well, when everything's okay and I have no OCD and I'm OCD free, then I'll go all in on this. Then I'll do this. Because then excuse me, I won't have this distraction and this obsessive compulsive disorder. But it's me. So rather than fight this thing, I'm like, dude, just embrace it. It's part of you. It is what it is. And you know what I've noticed too? The more I embrace it, and the more I surrender to it, go, all right, come here. Let me give you a hug. Come here. I'll bring you in. And not fight you, but just that's really kind of exposure and response prevention type stuff, right? That I've learned. But come here. I'm going to sit with you. I'm not going to fight you, because what you resist persists. So all the mindset work I've done, started listening to Tony Robbins when I was 16 years old or whatever, it's actually helped me a lot, because I kind of am more mindful and I go, okay, it's taken a long time, by the way, but if I fight you, aka resist you, you're going to grow and grow into this beast that becomes seemingly insurmountable, because it's become so big because I fed it energy. Again, going back to the concept of the inclusion-based universe, it's an inclusion-based universe, meaning I can only include in my experience. I cannot exclude. If I endeavor to exclude, I am by way of energy including whatever I'm trying to just exclude by default. So it backfires and then it grows. So whatever thoughts I fight, I perseverate. And they compound, right? Over time, and they grow. It's like compound interest. It accrues. So I guess really what I was thinking today was, dude, stop. What? Why? I'm going to try and drink this tea now. Hopefully, we'll see. No, I'm not. That's piping, baby. I'm not drinking that right now. I've learned. Just don't fight it. And like I said, the funny thing about it is, the less I fight it and the more I go, all right, I surrender. I'm just gonna, I think that's why routine can be very important. And I actually had sort of a mentor tell me this a couple years ago. He's like, why are you so good for a period of time? This was work, like occupation related, right? Why are your results so off the charts for a period of time and then you fall off? And this ties into that self-sabotage thing with wanting to be completely like free of OCD, because I use it. It's like the evil one uses that as a reason for me not to go live the full expression of who I am and do the best I can and really, you know what I mean, and do the most. Because the evil one says, well, just you know, and I'm calling it the evil one, the ego, whatever you want to call it. The ego says, well, just wait till you're kind of like the same saying. This just happens to be my like trigger, but for some people it could be a myriad of different things. But for me, it's like, it's the same concept as someone who wants to have all their ducks in a row. Like, say you're starting a business. You want to have all your ducks in a row and the whole business plan is perfect and it's all ironed out and there's no impurities, blah, 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 before I start. Well, that all sounds well and good, but that's not life. It's the same thing with the OCD. I'm frankly, from a business standpoint, with the actual business stuff, I'm like I'm fully a jump off the cliff, build the parachute on the way down kind of cat. But my downfall is the obsessive compulsive thoughts, right? And that's how my ego tries to get me and say, no, you got to do this. Oh God, no, you can't do that right now. You can't go full bore into this, because then it'll just, but going back to what my mentor said, when he asked that probing question, said, well, what, I just can't figure it out. From the outside looking in, like, you're a sharp dude. You've got, you know, you've got all the raw materials, and I've seen you crush it, but then you fall off and blah, blah. It's just, so I said, well, here's the problem. I get so into this obsessive compulsive stuff that, and I do deal with moods that oscillate sometimes, right? So I get so into this obsessive compulsive stuff that I say, well, I can't work. I can't really do what I need to do today. Or I'll do it, which I always do usually. I push through. I do it, but I'm not present. I'm not showing up as the best version of me. I'm not showing up as the person that I'm becoming. I'm showing up as the old version of me. And as a result, my results aren't as favorable, right? Because I'm so distracted by this. And so what he told me is, and this was sound advice just for life in general. He's like, look, you really need a schedule, because you need, it doesn't have to be crazy. It's more just about consistency, right? Compound over time. Consistency trumps quantity. And what's the word I'm looking for? Volume and intensity. Consistency. So have your schedule, and regardless of how you feel, you just know you got to do this, right? Period. Because the ironic thing is, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's also it's a self-fulfilling prophecy in the sense that I say, well, I'm not going to do this till I have my ducks in a row, but then my ducks are less in a row because I'm saying, oh, I'll get it done once I clear of OCD, but then the more I focus on it, the worse it gets, and then my ducks are less in a row and I haven't done jack. And then that's where the depression really takes off. Because how it worked with me is OCD. The anxiety would be so incredibly like debilitating that eventually Sometimes it didn't even take long. It depends. I would spiral down. All of a sudden, I'd be in this state of despondency, and then I wouldn't do anything. And then I'd think, oh, look. So not only do I have this OCD crap, it's not crap. I've just corrected myself. It's not crap. Used to think it was crap. It's made me who I am today. It's given me the ability to deliver a message like this to y'all and to get on here and live my purpose. So it's not crap. But let me rephrase that. Not only do I have this OCD situation, but I've allowed it to let me spiral down into this pit. And I haven't done any of the stuff I want to do in the process. So this morning in the gym, I didn't even want to get out of bed this morning, frankly. I laid there at like 5:30 on. I don't know what it was. I was just had like this melancholy vibe about me. Just right out of bed. And I was like, nah, I just want to, nah. But I got up, went to the gym. And it didn't get better right away. And like I said, and I was in the locker room and I thought, okay, here you are again. You got to catch yourself. Here you are again. You're fighting your existing reality. I forget who it was that wrote the quote initially, but Bob Proctor used to always mention this quote. And I live by it. I try to as best I can. You don't change things by fighting existing reality. You change things by building a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. So, in other words, I wonder if this tea's all right to drink now. Are we good? So, here we go. When you fight your existing reality like I do with the obsessive compulsive proclivities and this and that, I'm creating more of that. What I have to do is acknowledge it and go, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. Get close, not close, but embrace. Hey, how are you? I want you just sit down for a second. Let's chat. And then let him do his thing, and eventually, once he sees he ain't getting much of a reaction out of me, he splits. But when I fight him, he keeps coming back for more, baby. He'll bring his friends. Then I got like 6 of these dudes in there playing pool, drinking beers, talking smack. So it just doesn't help. It doesn't help my situation. Build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Inclusion-based universe. Choose to include what you want in your experience, but do not ever try to exclude what you do not want, because by default, you are including that very thing in your experience more and more and more and more and more and more and more. That's what I'm saying. So that's really it. I mean, that was, I'm aware of it, but I had more of an epiphany moment today where I was like, nah, we're not doing this anymore. You're gonna embrace this stuff. You're gonna take it on the chin. You're gonna do the best you can in the moment, and you're still gonna focus on your purpose, which is why I'm on here right now. I was laying down about to go to bed, kinda. Then I went out. I was like, I'll go for a drive, whatever. But I was laying down, listening to Neville Goddard, just kind of chilling. And I thought, I'm not doing it. And I thought, no. We're not doing this again. You're gonna do what you came here to do. You're gonna use this to the best of your ability. The thing that you used to think was your biggest shortcoming and your biggest problem, you're going to use it for good, damn it. And you're going to have a positive impact on the lives of others. And hopefully wake them up to the same understanding that as hard as it is, we need to do our best to take charge of our mind. And more importantly, our feelings. Thoughts, feelings, actions, results. So I just wanted to hop on and give this to you again. I wanted to give this message to you earlier. It didn't work out. It is what it is. But from now on, I am going to try and do them more on the fly. Just whenever it hits me, whenever I get the nudge, whenever I get the feeling. So anyway, appreciate y'all for tuning in. I hope this was some decent food for thought for you. Much love.